We're on to the black belt portion of the course. This from the man in black, me. You'll always see me in black. And the first thing I want to talk about is the first degree black belt, heads-up theory. Very important stuff. Again, nobody remembers who finishes second, so you want to be able to make sure if you get down to one-on-one in a tournament that you acquit yourself well, that you play well. And even better, you want to win. But sometimes you play great and you don't win. So I have my theory of heads-up play versus Howard Lederer's raise every button theory. Now, Howard was kind of happy that I coined this theory and mentioned his name in it, and it is in fact what he does. When he plays you heads up, here's the button, there's small blinds on the button, there's the big blind. Let's just say we're playing 1,000, 2,000 limit, which is about what Howard plays and about what I play. The 500's on the button, the 1,000's here. Here's what Howard does. Just to start off every hand, he makes it 2,000 to go. He raises every single pot that he's on the button. It becomes a very fast game. Now, most people do not know how to handle having their button raised, their big blind raised every single time. You know, you might look down and say, I have 9-8. Well, he's basically raising in the dark. There's a good chance that the 9-8's the best hand. And there is a decent chance that the 9-8's the best hand. So what are you going to do? So Howard gets people outside of their game. Now, this is a very good strategy to use in an amateur against other amateurs as long as you're confusing the other amateur and taking them out of their game. Once they figure out a good counter strategy, you better mix it up. And that's what I'm about, baby. Mixing it up. When I play heads up, I could raise every pot. I could raise no pots for 2 hours. I played Chip Reese in the National Heads Up Championship this year, 2006. I might have raised 2 pots, maybe 5 pots before the flop in 2 hours. Chip only raised 2. I guarantee you we're the only people that were even close to that. The reason why is we were trying to play our hands more on the flop or on the turn or on the river, you know, and that's one very kind of fun way to play. Sometimes I'll play like the elephant and slow play and call. I'll just call with the ace-king, or I'll just call with the 2 queens, and I'll let them raise, and I'll just call again. I'll give them the maximum rope to hang themselves. You know, and just calling with 2 queens, sometimes they have a hand like an 8-3, which they wouldn't have normally played. And sometimes the flop comes 9-8 deuce. Now they've flopped a pair of 8s. Now they can't throw that hand away. You know, and they bet and I call. I make it look like I have 10 jack. And they bet and I call. And then finally on the end, when they bet, I'll raise it. Or if they check, I'll bet. But sometimes I'll take that element from the elephant of being a calling station and apply it to a heads-up match when I have a strong hand. Sometimes I'll play my draws fast. In other words, if I have 10 jack and it comes 8-9 deuce, I'll put in a bunch of raises back and forth, trying to win the pot, because I know that I can win with a 7 or a queen, and most likely with a 10 or a jack. And also, they could have a straight draw. What if they're jamming it with 6-7? If they're jamming it with 6-7 and I'm jamming it with 10 jack, and it comes deuce deuce, so the board's 9-8 deuce deuce deuce, you know, whoever gets the last bet in is going to win that pot. And sometimes aggression is a really good thing. You know, when both players are drawing, whoever gets the last bet in usually wins. Sometimes I'll slow play my draws. I'll have the 10 jack, it comes 8-9 deuce. They'll bet, I'll call. They'll bet, I'll call. You know, and because I feel like maybe they're strong, or, you know, or for whatever reason, sometimes I'll just slow play a drawing hand. And, you know, it doesn't give myself the best chance to win, but sometimes if they see the hand afterwards, they'll be like, oh man, he didn't even raise me. It confuses them. Just the element of confusion heads up is big. Almost always in a heads up tournament, I'll call, in a heads up situation, I'll call my opponent down with ace-jack high. You know, because I mean, if they can beat it, they can beat it. But a lot of times you'll find at least 50% of the time, that they're bluffing, and the ace-jack high is going to win. So again, Howard's strategy, raise, re-raise, raise, re-raise, raise, re-raise. Howard just jams it up, man. And I'm willing to use that strategy if it works against my opponents. But the minute that they start counter-strategying it well, I'm going to switch off of that strategy. Also, if I'm playing heads up with Howard and he's raising every blind, he won't do that against me, because I'm going to make some good counter-strategy plays against him. But if you are playing against someone who's raising every hand, now let's say you're on this side of the coin, okay? You're in the big blind and they're raising you every pot. There's several things you can do. One, you can continue to be an elephant and just call, 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 and they lose some power. Two, but I like to do that even with some strong hands, so sometimes I'll just call, 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 or you can start re-raising them every time. They raise. Anytime you have better than 9-8, you re-raise. I'm not saying to re-raise with 10-7, but maybe 10-8. Anytime you have 2 cards over a 9, maybe you re-raise them. So now you're charging them 3 bets, and most times you're having the best hand to start. And now you've taken the lead away from them. So there's several counter strategies that you can use. A lot of times when I play against someone that aggressive, I make sure that I check my strong hands to them on 4th Street, because they almost always go for it, and then I get to raise. So when they come out betting, you know, 2,000, I get to say 4,000, you know? So there's a lot of fun and interesting ways to play heads up. It's a great game. You can practice it anytime. Go to any internet site, and you can play a lot of one-on-one poker there. Or you know what? You can play your wife at home or whatever. And if you play your wife at home, there might be other elements involved. I amplify. Do you?